Hi INFPs, in today's video I want to talk about setting boundaries, because what I found is INFPs are better than what they think when it comes to setting boundaries, because by just simply being who you are, by listening to yourself and living in tune with your values, you're already by definition setting boundaries, because a boundary is not just telling people no. A boundary is something as simple as just being. By just being and by just holding true to yourself and being authentic, you're already voicing a boundary, because in this there is a certain set of things that you want to do and a certain set of things that you don't want to do, right? And you're choosing your own experiences and how you engage with things and what kind of a person you want to be, right? But the problem for INFPs is, because they do this, there can often be a level of shame, because many INFPs, they put themselves forward in the sense that they put themselves into their art or into the things that they do or into the things that make them who they are. But a lot of the time there's a level of shame in doing this in public with other people and in large groups, right? And this is why a lot of INFPs find it hard to socialize and engage with the outer world, because, you know, at home you can be exactly who you are, but when you're with other people, it's harder, it's more difficult to stay true to yourself and to do what it is that you want to do, right? And to some extent, the very act of socializing can feel as if it's a compromise, even if it doesn't have to be, right? So how do you approach setting boundaries as an INFP, and what is the healthy way for INFPs to set boundaries? Well, the first thing you want to think about is the positive consequences of being true to yourself for other people, right? Because one thing you have to really work through is that level of shame and like, oh, but what if I'm inconveniencing other people by expressing what I want? What if I'm being annoying? What if people don't really like me? What if people don't really approve of me? You know, if the first and most important thing you have to do is really work through that shame and think about where it comes from. Why do you think that way? Has somebody told you something in the past that made you feel that? And how did you deal with that? And what would you do today if you were in that situation, right? What would you say to that person? You know, like, how would you experience and look at that situation? Because that's also taking ownership. Because INFPs, it's very common, very easy to think about things that have happened to you that you don't like, but in order to empower yourself, you often have to insert yourself into that situation and think about what it is that you would do differently today. You know, would you change yourself? Would you have chosen not to do that around that person? Or would you have told that person to back off, because that's who you are, that's what you wanted to do, and that's what you felt was right, right? So here, in that sense, what we're doing is we're processing past shame and we're thinking about how to manage that. And so we're kind of freeing ourselves to realize that how can we deal with situations in the future? How can we manage being in groups and being around other people? Because what I've found is, yes, a lot of people can have problems with you for expressing your opinion and who you are. But there is a but there. There's always a but. People tend to give up quite quickly. And that's what happens, because people will try to ask you, but why are you doing that? And they'll try to get you to explain yourself. And they try to say like, yeah, but we really want to do something different, you know. And what they're looking for here is she going to back down, right? Can I get her to shove aside? How important is this to her? So what they're doing is they're testing you, and they're testing how important this really is to you and how much you really care about it. Then the truth is, if you're able to stick to your guns and say, oh, this is actually very important to me. Oh, this is something I don't really want to compromise on. This is something that, yeah, I'm going to do. And when that happens, you know, they're forced to just deal with it. And they have two options here. They either compromise and they go with you, or they go and do something else that they want to do, right? And in both situations, you've reached a positive and healthy outcome, because here, in that sense, you made it clear to them what it is that you want and what it is that you're looking for. And now it's up to them to decide if they're okay with that or if they are looking for something different. And when that happens, you have a chance to experience something new, right? And here, you know, there's the second problem that you have to work through when it comes to setting boundaries. Fear of reaction, right? Because it's very easy to feel like, but what if they don't want to be with me anymore after that? Or what if they're not going to like me anymore after that? And here, the first thing you're going to have to think about is, zoom and fast forward this relationship 1 year and imagine that you compromised to give them everything that they wanted. And now ask yourself, is this the kind of relationship that you wanted to have? Was this something that made you happy? Was this something that got you where you wanted? Was this something that became fulfilling for you? Or did it become a prison in them? Like, did it become something that became confining, that became limiting, that made you feel more alone? Because yes, it's common for INFPs to feel alone. And it's a common problem, especially when you haven't learned healthy ways to use your extroverted functions, and when you haven't learned to find and identify strategies to connect with the outer world, right? But it's even more lonely to be around people who don't approve of who you are. It's even more lonely to be somebody you're not. There is even more lonely to compromise yourself. And so what we're going to have to get to now at this point is, how do you actually set boundaries? And what does setting boundaries look like? Because a lot of people get this wrong. A lot of people think, setting boundaries is saying, never do that to me, or never say that, or never do that, But this is not setting boundaries. This is more like threatening other people, which is, it can happen if you're upset or stressed or tired, and, it happens. But a boundary is different. The boundary is, if you go here, this is going to happen. It's more like declaring, what it is that you're going to do depending on what happens, right? And to say something like, okay, if you call me in the middle of the night to talk about your problems, and you talk for longer than an hour, I'm gonna have to hang up because I have something else. I'm gonna need to sleep. It's really just like being able to set and express how far you're able to go, how much you're able to compromise, and how important something is to you. And also just letting people know what it is that you need, right? Because setting boundaries is also letting people know of your needs. Like, yeah, actually I can't talk right now because I have a meeting, or hey, actually, I was really hoping to go to that movie that just came out, and no, actually that movie is not something I really want to see. Is there somebody else you could go with? Could we go watch this one together, and you can watch that with somebody else? Like, it's this aspect of just letting people know what it is that you want, and setting boundaries in the sense of letting other people know what's going to happen and what they can expect around you, right? Because the truth is, a lot of people feel socially anxious. And a lot of people feel anxious because they don't know what to expect around you. They don't know what you're going to do. They don't know if you're really cool with something or not. They don't know if you're just going along with it to be nice. They don't know if you're actually enjoying yourself. They don't know if you're actually having fun. They don't know if you're accidentally going to just blow up at them later, or get upset, or throw a tantrum, or get tired, or leave them, or, people are constantly anticipating all these things. And many people are highly socially anxious too, in the sense that they're constantly worrying what you're thinking about them. And to some extent, this is something that's very important to memorize, because you might go into a social situation worrying that other people don't approve of you, but you have to recognize that many people go into the same situation worried that you're not going to approve of them. And so what you're going to have to do, INFP, is really learn an aspect of mirroring. And here you have to think about what it is that your boundaries and your expectations and your communication skills can do for other people. So if you're able to clearly communicate what it is that you want, and what it is that is important for you, and what it is that you need, and how tired you are right now, and how happy you are, and how you're doing, if you're able to communicate these things, other people can feel more reassured and more calm and more relaxed, because here people realize that, hey, okay, they're not upset with me, they're just tired, or they just had a bad day, and it's not about me, and I didn't do anything wrong, and because here we also have to recognize that a lot of the reason why people lash out against us, a big reason why other people, get upset with you, it's because they're afraid that you're gonna lash out at them, and they're afraid that you're gonna get upset with them, and they're not sure what it is that you're thinking. And a common problem in the world is a lot of people live in guess cultures. And in guess cultures, what we all do is we're trying to guess what each others want. And you're trying to guess what everyone else wants from you and expects from you, and they're trying to guess what you want from them, what you're expecting from them. And nobody's thinking about what they want. And nobody's asking for what it is that they need, in a sense that people are hoping that you're going to be able to guess what it is that they want and give it to them. And if you can guess what it is that they want and give it to them, they're going to be happy. And if other people can guess what it is that you want and give it to you, you're going to be happy. And if they don't, you're going to be unhappy, right? And here we have to recognize the kind of futility of those kind of mind games as well, because people cannot just guess what your boundaries are going to be. And people are going to step on your boundaries. And it's not usually out of malice. It's generally out of just not knowing what it is that your boundaries are. And so we have two questions here. And the question is, how angry can we be at other people for stepping on our boundaries? And what can we do when other people step on our boundaries? Is it because they don't know us? Is it because there's something wrong with them as who they are as people? Is it because they had malicious intentions? Well, often the best thing you can do is just ask and say, hey, sorry, why did you say that? Or what did you mean with that? Or why did you do that? And I'm not really okay with that. And that kind of hurt me a bit. And that was not really nice, And here what we're doing is we're kind of letting other people know that, okay, this is what this person is cool with and not. This is what I can say to this person and not. This is what I can expect around this person and not. Once again, we're clarifying expectations and we're setting boundaries and we're making other people a little bit happier around us and a little bit more relaxed. Once again, remember that people might not instantly approve of your boundaries, and boundaries are generally not things that you just express in a yes or no fashion. It's not the threat, it's not the don't do this. It's what can we do to make sure that this doesn't happen again? What can we do in order to solve this problem? What can we do in order to ensure that I get what I want and you get what you want, right? These are the kind of questions that create a positive structure for a relationship, which can move forward and grow and become more beneficial for the both of you. So I hope this video helped you as an INFP set better boundaries, and best of luck, and see you all in the next video.